Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Imperator. This is not Imperator. Welcome back. Okay, this is already off the rails. Welcome back to Europa, where we are currently at war, and Pisa is our territory at this point. The real question at this point is who wants out of this war, and the answer is actually no one. They're all in high war enthusiasm. I don't think that was the case when I ended this episode last time. Yeah, there we go. It updated. Okay. I just restarted the game, as I always do before every single episode, just to make sure that everything is relatively fresh. So that's absolutely fine. We just needed to have that update. So they're now at low war enthusiasm, but Leica and Venice are still both at high war enthusiasm. So that's understood. We can march up over this direction and start trying to catch this force. See if we can build up a little bit of war score from that. Not war enthusiasm, war support. We want to reduce the war enthusiasm, right? So I'd love to catch these guys out over here. Let's reevaluate once we see if they're out here. Where might they be? They went up this way. Okay, we're basically going to have to siege Leica. So what forces do we actually need to do this? 9? Wow. Okay. So we definitely don't want our cavalry here, and we're going to leave behind 10 units. The rest of these guys, they're just going to chill back over here. We have to go around like that awkwardly, but that's okay. So we're going to just sit here for now, and we'll keep an eye on this. So the question is, does Leica want out of this? I kind of just want to white piece them. They have 7 reasons not to at this moment. They are Jewish, and so that seems absolutely fine. Now, we can't actually get to wait a second. This is open right now. If we moved over there, they would definitely close that, right? They would definitely close it. Okay, so Tuscany's forces are appearing down over here, which is deeply unsurprising. What we would really like to do is get Leica out of this. Now, occupied and besieged provinces. Okay, I'm just thinking about lengths of war modifiers here and how much we would lose over here. They can siege this, but they can actually move past. Really? So these guys actually just left the HRE. Okay, it's only 3 provinces. I don't care about that much. I didn't expect that to happen right then, though, because we had not selected anything there. Well, it default selected one, but I was under the impression we had until 1490. So apparently that's wrong. That's fine. So they're going to cap back some of this. I don't actually care about that, I think. We're just going to get Leica out of this. We're doing well on this siege. So yeah, I think this is fine. We can see we already have a breach here, so we should... Man, they have a breach already. They're going so fast. That's so obnoxious. They're so far ahead of us already on that siege. Well, this is a much lower level fort, right? But they don't have any siege weapons either. So that's definitely something to note. It's very awkward, no doubt about it. But we need to get Leica out of this war. That is of utmost importance right now. So I don't actually care if they take this back. We can grab ourselves a tech at this point. This is admin tech, and we absolutely want that. That's a huge deal. That's going to get us 20% production efficiency and minus 0.05 yearly corruption for 5 years. So that's a quarter point of corruption that's gone just from that. That's a huge deal. So at this point, we can root out a little less corruption. In fact, we can root out none at all, and that's exactly where we want to be. We're rolling kind of badly on this siege, though. They're rolling incredibly well on their siege, and that's understood. We need to get Leica out of this. That's the top priority. So we're just committed to this at this point, and it's fine. It's not ideal, but it is fine. We can do a Torah aspect here, and I definitely want to do that. Interest per annum is very, very interesting. No pun intended. But I think long-term, this 5% technology cost reduction is probably more valuable for us. Yeah, I'm going to grab that for now. So that seems okay. We're now at 21% here. So we're going to get Leica out of this war very soon. We don't actually care about them. We may vassalize them. We'll see. I'm not sure what our current aggressive expansion up here is. It is 14. That's not too bad. Okay, the Siege of Leica is now over. So we're going to group these guys back together. And we're going to come on back over to Tuscany, because we need to take this back. But Venice has forces here. Leica has forces here. This is noted. We are absolutely going to peace out Leica, and I would love to make them be our vassal, but we can't do that. So if we were to take this directly, that would be 12.1 AE. I think we're just going to take gold from them. Can we get war reps? We can get gold. We can get war reps. We can get transfer trade power. And we could pillage their capital. We wouldn't gain anything for that. It would just be malicious. That'll give us AE, right? Yeah, I'm not interested in that. We could have them annul their treaty with Tuscany, although Tuscany is not going to exist anymore after this. So there is that. We can have them annul some treaties here. This is fine. Okay, so Leica is out of the war. That's great. We also see some Urbanese separatists down over here. So we're going to make our way on over this direction. And I'd love to get Venice out of this war as well. How long do we think it would take to do that? Okay, we were not allowed to do it. Understood. I'm surprised that they let us get that far. So for now, we're going to come down over this direction. I want to fight these guys. We know that they've got another 10k down here, so we have a numerical advantage. They're coming around. We had to take a really awkward path there. So if we fight them here, this is going to be in hills. What's their combat width here? That's going to be 19 combat width. Yeah, that makes sense. They're going to have 5 cavalry units, so their flanking is not going to be super ideal. As far as leadership goes, they have only 1 shock pit. We have 3 shock pits. I'm going to head down to Pisa. We're going to get this under control again. So for the moment, this is fine. Pisa is going to fall. There we go. We lost... Oh, right. We had our navy here. Okay, they're going back to Pisa. That's okay. I don't mind that. That was because our navy was docked in Rome, and for right now, I'm going to park it here. Now you can see they are immediately heading down this direction, but this is actually what I want. I would much rather fight them defensively in Pisa than offensively in Firenze. So we're going to come in here. This is a much better location for us to fight. Beautiful. So we won that, no problem whatsoever, and I'm going to shift consolidate, and we're going to send 1 unit here, 1 unit here, 1 unit here. The rest of our force, not you, the rest of our forces are going to come down here and start up a siege in Firenze again. Now, this is not the number that we're going to need here, so we're going to shift consolidate and move out quite a lot of these. I believe we only need 4 units here. So we're going to select that. These guys are going to walk out, and that looks good. So we're going to get this all back under control very, very quickly, now that Tuscany has been removed. And now that Leica is no longer a thing, we don't have to go all the way up over there if we want to go offensive again. So that looks good. I want to get these guys all grouped up down here for the moment, where it's nice and safe. Perfect. And let's get this siege completed. So what is our current AE up over this way? It is 12? Sure. We can convert provinces, and we probably should be doing this. We're currently working on coring Pisa, so let's do Roma. This is going to be very interesting indeed. It's currently Orthodox. That's a lot of unity. So let's do that. That's going to cost us money. That's understood. Getting that converted is going to be a big deal. So we're rolling pretty well on this. It's a low-level fort, and we pretty much expect that. They also rolled very well here for the same reason. Agricultural revolution. A base tax, a base production, or a base manpower. Where is this? This is right here. And what is currently produced here? This is grain. This is a really, really good thing to produce. So I love it. We're going to invest in our production here. Beautiful. So that looks great. We're at 7% on this siege. And we find ourselves at 23% war score. Now, Venice is still at high war enthusiasm here. So if we look at Venice, they are 30 reasons away from wanting to end this. Okay. There's no way that they're ever going to allow us to attack Venice, right? There's absolutely no way. We can try, but it's not going to happen. Unless they make massive mistakes. They have to let us do this. And there's absolutely no way that they're going to do it. What? They let us in. That's such a huge mistake. Okay, so how many forces do we actually need to siege this? It's only 6. I'm going to, not reorg, I'm going to shift consolidate, and we're going to move out cavalry and all but 7 units. We don't need to be taking this much attrition. Surely they'll not let us off. Yeah. So they're not letting us off. That's understood. But there they let us off. Cool. So at this point, we can just chill here. And if we need to retreat, we can. But we would be considered the attacker here until this falls. So what I want to do right now is I want to see, is Venice willing to exit this war? No? Okay. We'll ride it out. So we can now see that Venice is here and Tuscany is here. I'm going to roll up a leader. And that's going to be... That's good fire pips. Fire is not very relevant right now. He's only got the 1 shock pip. Okay, let's make our way around. I want to leave this sieging force here because we know where their army is. So we're going to head over, and we should be able to win that, I think. This is considered a good general, but he's kind of a mediocre general in all actuality. So we're going to head on over here, and we're going to fight them here. Wow, Tuscany just completely abandoned Venice. Okay, so we can repay this loan, and we should. We should repay that loan. Okay, so we won that battle. Venice is going to be retreating. We're going to walk over and fight Tuscany separately. I'm actually surprised that they abandoned their ally like that. They might have been able to beat us if they didn't, but it would have been tough. It would have been a tough battle for them, for sure. So we're going to grab this back, and with that battle, now our risk is that they attack us here. So we're going to grab this, and we need to make our way up to Venice very quickly. But it's a very awkward route. So up we go, and we're going to see where they ended up at. We have a breach in the walls of Venice, by the way. So that's good. Lose 60 ducats. No thank you. We're going to gain legitimacy. Urbanese separatists here attacking Roma. That's definitely not ideal. We'll deal with that after the war, I think. Not too much to do about it right now. So we took a loan again. I'm sad about that, but that's because we're not looting down here. Okay, so we're at 0% with Venice right now. The question is, if we were hypothetically to take all of this, that puts us at 48 right there. This coalition is actually not so bad. Aragon just rivaled us. Okay, that's noted. That's because of this. So that's understood. Local development cost and goods produced modifier in Damascus. Done. We'll absolutely take that. So we can see that Venice is back over here now. So we'll come back over here. I'm wondering where they retreated to. I don't know. That's interesting. Well, we're going to make our way back over here. They didn't manage to get any of this. Venice itself just fell. Now, we can't exit this. But with Venice having fallen, that's a huge deal. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to fight these guys. No problem. We're going to win it, obviously. We were always going to win that. And with Venice having fallen at this point, you can see that we're at 100% war score here. So I'm going to clear this offer, and if we were to take Venice, hypothetically, that's 10 AE. Venice wouldn't currently accept this. They have 28 reasons not to, which is interesting to me. Do they have other provinces? Not that I know of. This is all Verona over here. So that's interesting. Maybe we just need to give it a moment. Do we have access here? No, we don't. Okay. That's absolutely fine. So this is an unconditional surrender from Tuscany. So if we were to take all of this all in one go, that would be 58.3 AE up over here. So Venice would cease to exist. Verona, Genoa, Cremona, and Spoleto. Question is, do we care? I'm kind of leaning towards no. I'm not sure that we care about any of that. Not at this moment, anyway. So I'm going to do this. It's a little greedy, to be sure. But I'm doing it. So Venice is now held by us. Venice no longer exists. So at this point, we do need to make some coring, or get some coring done here. These are not adjacent to us. So that's going to take us a little bit of time to get that all done. We need to finish our core in Pisa. That'll allow us to core Firenze. Venice still exists? Oh. I had no idea that Venice held this. Okay, so Venice is going to still exist then. So they're very against us. No shockers there. Here's the question. What's the electors looking like? Well, there's currently a lack of elector here. So we're the emperor. Can we make ourselves be the elector? Or be an elector? I'm not sure if we can. We should be an elector. That's for sure. Let's go to diplomacy here. And yeah, there's no diplomatic actions we can do with ourselves, of course. I don't want to create a subject from some of our provinces. So that's something we could theoretically do. That's an interesting option. But for now, I'm going to say no to that. So at this moment, what we need to be doing is we need to get Roma back, of course. That's a big deal. We can seize land, and the merchant guilds would be upset about this. They might rebel. Let's set an agenda first. So that'll bring them up to 45. Overextension of less than 1%, we're going to be working on that. So that would get us 50 admin power. Gain a base production in Damascus for... So this will be in Damascus for building a marketplace there. How much would that cost? And how much would that actually gain us? 101 ducats. That's very interesting, actually. So here's what I'm thinking. We can drop our army maintenance somewhat at this point, right? We can go down to about here. I'm going to debase again. I really wish we weren't doing this, but here we go. And I'm going to take this. In Damascus, we're going to build a marketplace. So that'll boost the trade power there. And that'll be done 23 September. Okay, mercenary companies, sure. That's fine. So I want to get these guys potentially moved out of Venice. Venice does have a fort in it, and I kind of want to keep that fort there for now. I'm going to mothball it, though. And let's move these guys over to Rome. So that seems fine. Genoa entered into a military coalition against us, which is unsurprising. We'll see who else decides to join that. Venice can't. Verona did. Okay, that's fine. We knew that these guys would be thinking about this, right? And I'm not really terribly scared of them at this moment. So that sounds good. We can continue to make some cores here. Actually, we can make Venezia into a core, which we should do. And we can make Arezzo into a core, which is this here. I'm actually surprised that we can make that into a core. I'm very surprised that we can make that into a core. But we can't make Firenze into a core because we don't have enough admin. Okay, beautiful. So that seems fine. Let's see who else decides to military coalition against us. I'm not convinced that there will be all that many. So who's angry right now? So Mecca is an elector. They will never vote for us. Fars is an elector, and they are not necessarily okay with us right now. Mostly, a lot of this is due to overextended. And yeah, we have no imperial authority right now. That's understood. We're working on it. So Venice was not actually removed. So we still have the same amount of heretic princes, right? They're currently 60. That's gone down. Okay, so it was 71. So that's good to know. That has gone down by more than what we've done. So that's fantastic. We need 137 admin power for Firenze. And I'm currently leaning towards focusing admin power. There we go. We need to keep in mind we're 55, but we're making 4 ducats per month right now. That's actually really, really good. So this military coalition against us is deeply unsurprising. Some of these guys will probably be leaving this fairly soon. That's 67 AE. Okay, that's more than I expected to have up here, but that's okay. 53 there. Sure. So we're doing kind of okay, I think, though. I don't think that's a huge issue. Our corruption is currently growing, and we should definitely deal with that. A lot of this is our overextension, and that's deeply, deeply, deeply unsurprising. So we're going to sit about here for right now, and we definitely need to deal with that. How is our construction in Damascus going? 23 September of this year. Okay. Cremona entered into a coalition against us. This is unsurprising as well. They're also at 53. Okay. So they're going to be in this coalition for about a year and a half, and that's understood. We're going to repay this loan. So now we're going to be making more money because we're spending less on interest. That looks good. We've got these guys here right now, and that's understood. This force is a little too big. So I'm going to split off 4 units here, and these guys are going to be moved down here for now. So we're going to keep 1 full-sized army here, and another army is going to be started soon, but we're not economically in a position to do that just yet. We're getting very close, though. We can grab a Torah aspect, and what do we want to do here? Development cost, tolerance of heathens, or tolerance of the true faith? We're probably going to take tolerance of the true faith. Beautiful. So that looks good. Okay. So at this point, we do want to seize land, but we're waiting on the merchant guilds, and that'll be done as soon as this marketplace is. That'll be this month. So that looks good. We'll get that finished. And I think no one else is going to join the coalition against us, so that would be ideal. And at this point, we can now seize land without having to deal with any rebellion. We probably wouldn't have much of a rebellion, but we definitely want to do that. Beautiful. So that looks good. We could start recruitment here if we wanted to. I think that finances are still going to be a big concern for us. So I think that for the moment, we should probably chill. Aggressive expansion over here isn't too bad. So we should chill up here for sure. And we should get this core done. So we need to get our overextension down. That's a very big deal to get that down. So at this point, we have unlawful territory for Hamadan. That's understood. Corruption is going down by 0.05 at this point, and that's more than I want it to be going down for the moment. We need money, right? So 50 diplomatic power and 15% trade efficiency. For how long? 10 years. So that's 120 ticks. So if we assume that this is going to be 2.8, 2 times 120 times 0.15. That would be about 50 ducats and 50 diplomatic power. We're going to take the payment in full. Thank you very much. What that, of course, means that we can do is we can put that towards paying off more of our loans and coming out of debt. That's going to be huge. So we're going to do that. That drops us down to 0.2 in interest. And that is a very big deal for us. So we're going to continue to work on that. And we'll see if these guys decide to coalition war against us. For the moment, they're just kind of chilling. And the longer that they wait, the worse it'll get for them. Because these guys are in the coalition against us right now, right? And they're at 53. These guys up here are in the coalition against us. They're at 67, so that's a little higher. But we've got like Cremona up over here who are in the coalition. After 1 month and 1 year, well, 2 months and a year, those guys are going to drop out of the coalition. So that's absolutely understood. We just have to hope that they don't attack us between now and then. That would be the ideal scenario, is that they don't do that. However, it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to probably think about some expansion over on this side, perhaps attacking Sinai, who is... This is saying that they're state... Actually, they are state religion Jewish. Interesting. They're state religion Jewish, but these are Orthodox. So we would need to hopefully find someone who is actually a heretic. This is not a heretic up here. So we'll have to look into that. A lot of these around us are, in fact, Jewish. So these are not heretics. We may have to attack a non-heretic. We'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge, STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.